Hello, Clay here, Cardboard Empires with Mason from Cardinal Gaming.
What's up, guys? Hey, how we doing?
Very excited and very privileged to be sitting down talking with
Privilege, please. No, no,
oh,
no.
come on, the shout out from Rudy. You're a made man.
Made man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got probably I got like 3 subs off that. So yeah, it was cool.
Okay.
No, it was cool. I do appreciate that for sure.
I don't think that was the first time that he shouted you out either. I think if I remember correctly, there was a video before that too.
I talked to I'm a patron of his, so I
Okay.
send messages and we talk about stuff on his Patreon. So he knows of me. He's watched my stuff, and I appreciate anybody acknowledging me ever. So that's just awesome. It's a good feeling to have some validation.
Absolutely. You are from Kentucky?
Yes. Here currently, I'm not from Kentucky. I'm from California, but I'm here in Kentucky. Been here for 10 years. So yeah.
Okay. You have a Southern accent. I would.
Do I?
Well, to me,
Do I have a little twang?
a little bit, yeah.
I have the speed and like laid back speech of California, and then the draw and also slur of Southern, I guess. So it makes for a very weird cadence, I'm sure.
Okay, so all the benefits from both places.
Sure. Let's call it that.
I love Kentucky. I've been there camping with my family.
Oh, nice.
But Mammoth Cave.
Awesome place. Nothing like it in the world. Mammoth Cave is awesome.
So okay, here's a good topic that I have for you.
We're just gonna do it. We're just gonna go right off the rip, huh?
Right down the list. Right
Cool.
down the list. Very natural. Like while I sit here reading my bullet points.
Cool.
I was impressed with your stack of fakes.
Yeah. My recent video, yeah.
Yeah, that was impressive to me. I have them, but they're not as good as yours.
No, yeah, the recent ones I had to buy them from the guy because he was wanting to leave with them, and I was like, I have to have these because these are too good. These are too good of fakes to walk out my door.
Yep.
So yeah, I had to I gave him a little bit just for the fakes, just because I wanted to have examples and things to look at and to show employees and stuff for future reference. So yeah, that was a cool thing to pick up, and yeah, I've got a pretty healthy stack of some fakes and stuff. So it's cool to bust those out and make a little video.
Yeah, it's fun to catch those in the wild. I buy those $50 booster boxes from Singapore that you see on eBay.
Yeah.
Just to have the examples, but it's always fun to catch them in the wild.
For sure, yeah. Yeah, I've had numerous times where kids came in with a giant collection and they have pages and pages and pages of EXs, and it's like, oh, hold on a minute, something's off here.
Yep.
Too many of the same ones over and over and over for this to be legit, and more often than not, it's not. I have to break the news to them. It's sad, but it happens for sure.
The other thing that impressed me, as somebody who's a dealer, I buy and sell a lot of cards, and I hear you talking about the quality of cards that you sell. And so when you sell something as like near mint, you sell it as what I would consider near mint.
Right.
And
yes.
that I'm happy about that, because a lot of the times that's not the standard that other people use.
No, yeah, and I'm sure there's numerous occasions where I sell something for a near mint or light play that is in other worlds like pristine 10s and stuff that is moderately played, we'll kick it down to like damaged or something ridiculous, just because we always say that it's better to have people be pleasantly surprised when they open up their cards from us and see that they have decent grades, and are we actually graded harsher than most places do, than for them to be open up and be disappointed. So that's always the rule that we go by.
That's exactly my philosophy too. I'd rather miss out on business because somebody wants, they see near mint or they see light played and they're thinking, well, I don't want light played, I want near mint.
Yeah.
And I'd rather miss that business than try to sell a light play off as a near mint and then have somebody disappointed.
For sure. Yeah. And my repeat customers and the repeat business I get from people that buy, thousands of dollars in singles from me, because they know every single one they get from me is accurately graded. So it pays off and is worth the effort, even if I'm losing, 10%, maybe possibly on a single here or there. That long term and repeat business is definitely worth it.
Oh, I think that that loyalty and that fan base that you've developed, I think that shows in your community throughout your social medias that people really respect you and appreciate your business practices.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Like I said, it builds a customer base that you know expects more, and and maybe even potentially is willing to pay a little bit more, just because they know that when you send a card out to them, it's going to be accurate. So
Yep.
it's definitely it can be a payoff in the other direction too, where and it's really difficult explaining to people because they always just see TCG low or whatever, and they're just like, well, why would I pay you 15% more when TCG player has it for so much cheaper? And people don't understand that, you know, reputation and the pedigree. I don't want to say pedigree like I'm some sort of elite card shop. I'm definitely not. But just the type of clientele and the type of cards and stuff that I grade and put out there as I know is going to be accurate. So that expectation is worth that comfort of the customer knowing that it's going to be a good grade is worth paying that little bit extra.
Right.
So people get confused on that kind of stuff, and give me issues and want to complain about pricing and stuff like that. And I always lean on that where you're paying for a reputable business, not have to worry about things being faked or resealed and all that stuff. So there is a price that some people are more than happy to pay when it comes to that kind of stuff.
That works almost as a double-edged sword for me because I get a little sensitive. I get messages all the time, whether it's on eBay or whatever. People are like, is this booster box sealed?
Yeah.
Is it? And I get those and I read them. It's almost like, excuse me, what do you think I'm doing here?
Right.
But
Yeah.
I don't answer that, but that's the feeling inside. It's like the fact that I thought that I'd ever tamper with anything is.
Yeah, it never fails. And it used to be. I know you do a lot of other card games like Magic and stuff, but Pokemon particularly.
Yeah.
We'd always used to be like, well, there's no way that Pokemon would even put that out, in that kind of condition and with packs that are, loosed at the top and half open and stuff like that. But here recently.
Yeah, not recently.
That is them just rushing stuff out the door. It really shows that some quality checks are not necessarily as stringent as they used to be.
Have you had people coming back with Vivid Voltage or Battle Styles and saying, are these tampered? What's the deal with these packs?
Yeah, I had a lot of people with Shining Fates ETBs.
Oh, boy.
Saying, of course, with any specialty set, it's going to be hard to... Are you okay? The camera or the recording is kind of stalled out.
Oh, yeah, it did. You're right. Let me... restart the video. Stop the video. Okay. I think we're still going. Yep.
But no, yeah, Shining Fates ETBs was the worst just because the quality wasn't there and people would be getting stuff and the promo would be missing and stuff like that. And Champion's Path too. In fact, the one that was really bad, it was brothers that bought 4 ETBs a piece. So they had 8 together and 2 of their ETBs were missing the promos. And I'm like, how does that even possibly happen? So of course it looks bad. Like, sure, one may be okay, but several issues like that. So I had to walk them through how to go to Pokemon support and put in a claim with that. And I'm sure they're so backed up they probably still haven't got their cards to replace what they had. But
yeah,
unfortunately, that's a manufacturer's error. That's when I'm busting open cases and just putting the ETBs in boxes and shipping them out the door. That's unfortunately above my chain of supply where I got my stuff. So it's unfortunate.
You sell just through your store and your website, any eBay or Amazon?
eBay a little bit. If things aren't moving, sometimes we put graded stuff on eBay.
Yeah.
Amazon is rough, man. Sometimes it's a good thing to put stuff on. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's just not worth it.
Yeah.
But a lot of eBay for just hard to move stuff. Kind of pricier stuff. That I want the traffic that the website does get. But a lot of stuff on TCG Player. I mean, that's basically if we don't sell it on the website, it's going to TCG Player just to kind of get the eyes on it to just if I want to move it faster.
Sure.
That's where it goes.
I haven't tried TCG Player. I don't know why.
Really? I'm surprised.
Yeah, I don't know why. I just have this. I'm skeptical about TCG Player. I buy from TCG Player all the time.
Wait, hold on. What?
I don't know. I don't know.
Come on.
Yeah, I
No,
don't
it's
know.
for as much as like a scam or like I don't know, like people that have like their own marketplace on their website and you're like competing against other people.
Yeah.
It's TCG Player, the amount of eyes, just the traffic alone is worth putting up with all the BS that can potentially happen with issues with stuff on TCG Player. So
And
definitely
things
worth selling on.
and things move on TCG Player.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
If I have stuff that ain't moving, like all this sealed magic that's sitting around,
Yeah.
that's where it goes. So that's been very helpful the past half a year or so with magic.
Having a hard time moving Magic.
It's just we are very much when you have a local like brick and mortar store in a Louisville's not a huge city, but it's a city still.
Yeah.
Your different stores have different people they cater to, so we are very much a Pokemon store and the Pokemon store in the city. So, and there's very much a Magic store over there.
Okay.
On the other side of town that does all the competitive Magic stuff. So, sure, we sell some stuff to people that are just local in the area, but a lot of the competitive stuff, the fancy foils and all that stuff that high end players or just high end collectors, maybe even the Magic would be buying. It all just goes on TCG Player. We just don't have them going to the website or the foot traffic for it. So
the trouble you're having with Magic is more reflective of your local market rather than Magic as a whole.
Definitely. I mean, what have you seen? Have you seen Magic doing okay, or I don't know what you've been selling?
Most of my Magic stuff right now is buy and hold stuff.
Okay.
So that's I'm just sitting on quite a bit, and I'm looking forward to finally getting rid of it.
Magic is an interesting thing. I was actually, I'm known for making Pokemon content, but Magic is getting interesting to where it's worth probably talking about.
That leads me into something that I wanted to ask you about, and if you can't or don't want to talk about it, that's obviously fine. But you mentioned
I would venture to say that you could not ask me anything that I would not want to answer. But okay.
Okay, you mentioned in one of your videos about somebody coming in and taking something without paying for it.
Yes, I had a couple of armed robberies, which is a pretty further escalation than just the typical break-ins that happen. And there's been definitely an increase of that. I don't know if you're part of the Facebook groups with all the retailer stores and game stores and stuff, but seen a lot of break-ins and stuff just because the word is getting out that card games in general are exploding in price, and pretty much anything you can get your hands on Pokemon wise is easy money. So apart from the regular break-ins, the armed robberies would assume not be a part of anything card related or anything with that. So that was kind of just a rash of incidents, let's say.
Oops.
To have it twice in 3 weeks.
Were you able to recover the inventory?
No, like they only took the cash, so
okay,
both times. So they were just after cash. So
that's actually probably the best thing that they could have taken, huh?
Yeah. It's definitely the easiest thing to just toss at them and they walk out. So
right.
Yeah, it's less of a hassle that way for sure.
Yeah. So I'm sorry that you had to deal with that. Here's another kind of hot button, I guess, ish question that I had.
Hot button. Okay, let's go.
I watched a video from yours a while back, and you were almost like defensive. You were kind of like, I don't want to say defensive, but you seemed like shaken up. You said people were upset about you about some price. You told people not to pre-order something, and then they didn't. And they were upset.
Yes.
What? Yeah. Can you want to explain that a little bit further?
Let's run down that little.
Okay.
Let's call it a learning mistake.
Yeah.
And just owning a business and then having semi-successul YouTube channel. I don't know if I would even say I'm successful, but
I mean, you're doing great as far as I'm concerned.
I got a couple of subscribers. So
yeah.
So what happened was with Pokemon in particular, we've had so many new instances of what distributors do and how they're handling stuff. Waves has never been a thing before.
Right.
The type of allocations and how they figure out who gets what. has completely changed. I talked about this in a recent video where just the hobby market in general is very much the same way as it's always been since like the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
And then now it just seems like just with the way that Pokemon has been and just the absolute frenzy for anything Pokemon, these distributors are changing things that they've always done a certain way and now have been, completely flipped to being not how things are anymore.
Yep.
So what I was telling folks to do when the big hype for Shining Fates, when they started spoiling all the cards and was all coming out, I told them to wait because that was, when they spoil the cards, we can't even put numbers in distribution. That's way before we even get a chance to put our numbers in, let alone get our numbers back and see what we're getting.
Right.
So the message I was trying to tell to people was that just wait. If you don't want to pay an overinflated price and you want to try to get it for MSRP, to either go to GameStop and put in the pre-orders there because they're always going to sell on MSRP, or wait till your local game stores get their numbers back, and then they'll release things at, for their regular customers at MSRP or, whatever the kind of deal that they would want to do, or, if they just want to have product available, because at that point, people are just desperate to get anything, know. So at the same time of me doing that, a couple weeks later, after I put my numbers in, I got my numbers back, I made a video that, okay, stores now know their numbers, and now you can go and talk to your local game stores or whatever and put in your pre-orders. And at the same time of me releasing that video, because I wanted to be timely and make it, because I got my numbers back, it was probably like a Monday or Tuesday, when they updated all that stuff. So I was like, okay, now's the time if you want to get on early. I made a video. And at the same time, I posted on the website, at our website, 100 boxes of ETBs at the same time.
Sure.
So, of course, when people saw the video, they immediately went to my website and bought all the Shining Face stuff. And, of course, I don't know if you've seen my videos, Clay, but I very much preach about selling things at market price and what the going rate is for things. So what I normally do is, I think it was like $100 for an ETB, which is double MSRP, right? But people were just buying it because I told, okay, go ahead and pre-order it. And some people saw that as a bad take. And obviously it was. The optics on that was terrible. And yeah, I got a lot of hate for it.
Okay, so
of course, in hindsight, the $100 ETBs are Shining Fates when they were actually selling and on release for like $150. That was a pretty good deal, actually. But,
right.
Never mind that. In any case, however the outcome was, it looked bad. So yes, I had a little bit of a goof about not only just the power of persuasion that a YouTube channel can have, but just how absolute faith people have in whoever's talking to them, a random person that owns a random store in a random part of the country,
Right. Especially as something as early as like when the spoilers are coming out.
Yes.
Because if people are unaware, the spoilers are coming out usually after a Japanese set is released, which is like a good month or maybe even 2 months before we even are allowed to start putting our allocation numbers in.
Correct.
Which is another month or month and a half before we get our allocation numbers back.
Right.
Which is like maybe a week or two before release.
Yes. So yeah. So normally when like the the product material, like what the ATBs look like, what the booster boxes look like, that's when Pokemon's releasing that information to distribution, and then that's when they put their stuff up for pre-order. That's when all that kicks off. So yeah, that was about that time when I made the first video. And then the second video was when we got the numbers back and I knew how much I was getting. And of course, this was before we even knew that waves were a thing.
Right.
So, yeah. Luckily, I had enough in my first wave to cover all the pre-orders, or else that would have been also a bad look. But
yeah, I try to stay away from pre-orders. Just
now it's not worth it. Like, why bother?
Right.
Not only is it going to probably be more at release.
Yep.
But you get in all kinds of trouble if you get shorted or just something happens. And, I don't even trust numbers when they say that they're locked in anymore.
Right, me either.
Because who knows with waves and how they're going to be broken up that I'm not going to get screwed one way or another, So
Yeah.
I think a lot of places are going that route.
Yeah, and the wave system, have you gotten any more battle styles in since the first release?
No, I'm waiting on wave 2.
Okay, yeah, me
Should be
too.
mostly ETBs, I believe. This is basically a lot of what I'm getting is ETBs. So,
Okay.
yeah, a lot of the first wave ETBs went to big box stores, obviously, because we get booster boxes, and then they're gonna flip it around, I'm sure, where they send a lot of packs and blisters and things to big box where we get ETBs on this round. So,
Because I saw something that made me think that people were getting more product. Retailers were getting more product.
Hmm.
We can discuss it later. Not it's not something that I can put in a video, but I'll tell you about it.
okay,
Chilling Rain is coming out. I'm excited about that.
yes. You got your numbers in already? You got that all locked down, or at least put in?
I have my numbers put in. Yeah, obviously
Okay.
we're a ways away from allocations. You're all good to go, I'm assuming.
No, I'm put in with pretty much every distribution I can.
How many
Uh,
distributors do you use?
I got 4 that I hit up for like main releases.
Okay.
I have a couple of specialty ones I use, but yeah,
Okay.
one's
Yeah.
my main. Southern is my main, and then I bounce around between Alliance, Mad Al, and GTS. Jeez.
Okay. Yeah. Southern, obviously great. Mad Al, their fulfillment centers right there in Kentucky with you.
Yeah, it's
So
it's
that's
pretty
cheap,
awesome.
cheap shipping.
Normally, it's I don't know if you I've actually heard this from Darium. You know Darium? Darium Pokemon? He's known for like opening tons of packs and stuff.
I'm not sure.
No? Okay. Yeah, Darium Pokemon. It's an awesome dude, awesome channel. He's very behind the scenes, not afraid to tell people numbers or whatever.
Yeah.
He actually told me that Mad Al has a place in Kentucky and Alaska,
Mhm.
of all places.
Yep.
And when they go to ship these orders, they go to Alaska first for some reason.
Because that's where their business
It's
is.
always early to ship stuff because they get it first in Alaska. So I guess that's why it's there. But yeah.
Oh,
Interesting.
so when well, maybe. I don't know. I was gonna say maybe they're printed in Japan, and Japan's closer to Alaska, but that doesn't.
Yeah,
make
I don't
any
know. I don't know
sense.
how it bounces over there. I guess to give it more time because potential issues, but normally they get early. But I don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's what I heard. That's what I heard him say one time. So they're normally pretty good about releasing stuff, though. They know I do get it first before everybody else. So I don't know.
And Southern's good too. I just recently cleared Southern out of an older CCG that they had laying around in the warehouse.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You wanna talk about it, or you wanna still?
I think it's a little bit early. I think
Okay.
I'll wait. I'll wait till it's inventoried,
All right, that's fair.
and before I.
You can tell me later.
Okay. But
yeah, Southern's great. I have Nashville as my main. They're like 2 hours away, so I get it next day on all my stuff, and they're great. I have an awesome rep, and they do and treat me good. So
Yeah, me too.
Can't complain.
Me too. I have Chicago, and yeah, Southern. Boy, I had something. So have you talked about MetaZoo at all?
Oh my goodness, are we gonna do this right now?
We don't have to. We don't have
Like I
to.
said, I'll talk about anything.
Okay.
What do you want to talk about MetaZoo about? What do you want to? You want to just my
Well,
thoughts, or what do you think? What do you wanna hear?
how about we try and keep it nice and light, and we talk about MetaZoo in comparison to Flesh and Blood.
Okay.
And my opinion is that Flesh and Blood has had such a successful launch and rise because Magic has left a door open for a competitor, whereas
Okay. Yeah.
Pokemon, in my opinion, that door is not open. So I don't know where this fervor for MetaZoo is coming from.
I agree. Yes. MetaZoo is okay. You said be nice, so I'm sure MetaZoo is the guy that's behind MetaZoo, and the owner that I know the story about Kickstarter, and he put in all of his money, or $100,000 or whatever he did for his to start this awesome lore filled game that he is very passionate about, and Cryptids is awesome. I think that's an awesome thing to build a card game around. I think it's a cool idea. But there are several steps ahead where they should be, as far as like people investing or even talking it up and promoting it the way that they are. I think it's not even officially released. If you want to make a trading card game that is just for collecting, yeah, MetaZoo's, I guess, is it, and that's how you would want to do it. And get these people that are investors in collectibles and get them to open it and carry it and talk about it, right? But if the creator of MetaZoo is serious about it being a playing card game that people can sit down and play and actually, are interested and find the mechanics interesting, you should be first hitting up game stores and places that, will be carrying this stuff, not just the people that are, potentially buying it and hoarding it and see it as investment vehicles. And I was saying, and I've said it a lot, where if I was going to carry MetaZoo, I cannot put a $3,000 booster box in my case and expect somebody that knows nothing about this game to want to pick it up and play it.
Sure.
And if, I can't put singles that are hundreds of dollars in my case and say, yeah, you need this to play, and this has synergy with that. And I don't even know how it works. No, I don't think anybody is really interested in how it works, because nobody knows. And everybody's just worried about the financial aspect of it and not, the actual game mechanics of it. And that's what is worrying to me, and why I don't think it speaks to just the frenzy of all collectibles and all things. And, heaven forbid you miss out on this one TCG, because who knows, down the road, it could be huge.
Yeah.
I think it's way too early to even speculate on a game that is in Kickstarter level. I think it's just a silly thing to be putting that much money into. I think if you really did like the game, you thought it was good, and you liked the mechanics of it, definitely, yeah. First boxes, I mean, we saw it with Flesh and Blood. I mean, it's a perfect example of somebody or a company that is doing it correctly.
Right, through the right channels.
And, checking off boxes in order, whereas MetaZoo's drawing squiggly lines all over the page and hoping that this lasts long enough to make it survive.
Right.
And that's the thing that I'm worried about, is that, if people are just in a fervor about this game that may potentially never go anywhere, that, you wasted thousands of dollars on these cards.
And for the people who are going to say, well, Mason's just upset because MetaZoo is cutting him out of the equation. The MetaZoo is cutting him out of the equation, and he, not letting Mason make his cut. The reason why it's important for card games to go to card stores and get into the hands of customers is because these games need to be play tested. They need to reach a massive audience before anybody really knows if the game's viable or people really like it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I would venture to say that even the standard meta of Pokemon is not solid enough and fleshed out, even with just the online gaming, because it takes that in-person play, that next level, the amount of hands shuffling cards,
right,
to actually figure out what the meta is. And I don't know anything about the playtesting of MetaZoo, or maybe he had hundreds of people test it, I don't know, but something would tell me that if you go and you're going to make expansions and build off that, if you want the power creep and the mechanics to function and everything to have synergy together as you make more and more of this game, it's very important that you're very careful about how things interact. It's very easy for things to run off and get away from you. I don't know if you're familiar with Argent Saga.
Yeah, I have a box of it.
You have a little bit of it. I got some too. Don't worry, I got some too. It's sitting around hanging out. Very much a game that kind of ran away with itself and kind of mechanics got away from it a little bit.
Okay, yeah.
So it can happen. And they are from a tournament company, a company that is used to running tournaments and how those operate. And they had some issues with that as well. So yeah, it's just super early to be speculating on something. And I think it's just people wanting to reach out and grab onto something just in case this takes off. I'm at the ground floor,
Right.
and it's definitely not a safe way of testing. I guess if you can't afford it and just think it's just want it for fun and the enjoyment of investing in something, okay. But to have people that are in the collecting sphere saying and talking to anybody and saying, yeah, this is a game that's totally investable in, and you should be picking up this because it's first edition boxes, it's Kickstarter boxes, and this is going to be worth so much more in the future. It's very dangerous to be telling somebody that would be interested in playing it, for example, that you should be investing in playing and buying this game up at the prices that it is. There's no way that this game, at the cost that it is able to be played. There's no market there for people that nobody's gonna like I said, nobody's gonna spend thousands of dollars on a booster box to get into a game. Yeah. It's silly. It's not a feasible way to run a card game.
I would say at this stage in its life cycle, it's about as investable as a lottery ticket, basically. Maybe it'll go to the moon, maybe it won't, but it's a gamble. It's 50-50, who knows?
Yeah. It's hard to know. Nobody knows. And that's why it's a tricky thing to talk about, because I don't want to poo-poo on somebody's dreams.
Me either.
But for the layman person that is, maybe wanting to come from Pokemon or something else that, maybe they collect just casually and like, yeah, MetaZoo, let's get into that. It's a scary thing to try to suggest and push people towards, just because of just how out of sync things are with how normal TCGs should be trying to start up.
I think the other thing people should realize too is when you or I maybe speak negatively or form negative opinions about a certain product, we have to think about these things differently than maybe the average consumer.
Sure.
We have to assess the downside risk a lot more carefully, like especially when you're talking about a $4,000 booster box. When we look at that, we have to say, how likely is it not to go to $10,000, but how likely is it to go to $50?
Yeah.
Because then we're out of business.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and if something happens or, something that's totally unrelated to how well or, successful a card game is, like I said, Argon Saga went out of business just because they couldn't run tournaments. And that's like their bread and butter was running tournaments and, trying to run this game. So there's no fault to the game. The game was very popular. There's still people trying to get them to continue to make it at this point. And it's an interesting thing to see. There's lots of dead card games that have great communities that want the game to continue and still want to play it,
Yeah, Harry Potter is one of them.
Absolutely. Yeah. Harry Potter, all the Dragon Ball Supers was in a coma for a while, but now it's taken off because of the collectability and the strength of the IP behind it. So I think a lot of that is pushing those sorts of games up, and that's another thing that MetaZoo doesn't have is a strong IP behind it that adds to some sort of validity or when you look at something that has fundamentals of something that's collectible, cryptids are cool and awesome, and there's a lot of people that are really into it, but that's not a brand. That's not a thing that doesn't have a cartoon. There's not an anime about it. There's not a property that is cohesive where this mass appeal of people that are coming into it from different directions that would want to pick up this game.
Sure. And I think as many people have pointed out, I think I heard Squeaks' video got taken down, or he took his video down. I haven't checked into that, but he did I don't know if you saw, but he did a big video on MetaZoo.
I watch all of Squeaks videos. I love Squeaks. He's probably one of the smartest guys in this area right now. And he's just a leader in the forefront of just a store owner talking about, investing, collecting, and all that kind of stuff.
I 100% agree. And
awesome. I think I've been following him for years.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So big fan of his.
I think
I don't think he came off too strong personally. I think he made all the correct decisions, and he came at it from I want to protect people, and I don't know what happened to the video. I haven't talked to him about it, so I don't know what all exactly happened. But I know they did talk to the creator of the game for a long time, and maybe just felt that it was in bad taste to maybe change his position, but then keep the video up. Maybe.
Yeah. I don't think he came off too strong either. He did come off, stronger than his other usual takes, but it was definitely from a position of like, what are you guys doing? Wake up type of thing. And I think sometimes people need to maybe hear that.
Yeah. I mean, or just when you hear so much of people pushing, I'm doing this, I'm opening this, it takes somebody to look at it from our perspective of a seller that could be potentially selling this game in the future.
Right.
For somebody to go, no, it's not there yet, guys. Let's look at the fundamentals, the optics of it, and see if it has what it takes first before we start dumping money into it.
I think that's a really good point too, because we're not only sellers, but we're also massive buyers. So if this game, if they ever want, people who invest in this game are going to want to cash out one day, there's a good chance that they might come to one of us someday, and maybe by then it'll be a good game, but we're going to need to be on board at some point as well. So,
with any card game or, all these expansions, and whether or not something's good or bad, who's investing in it first? It's the game stores that are shouldering the burden of buying these from distribution, having it available for people to try. It's a very risky position to be in. And you and I both have to think about this stuff when we go to buy product, and whether or not it's something that we want to stock and put a lot of money into. Like, again, I'll say Magic, not being a big Magic store and not having a lot of strong secondary market for it right now, for a lot of stuff. I'm still sitting on Magic stuff that I have boxes of. Zendikar Rising is still sitting on my shelf,
Yeah.
So
Zendikar's right in that lull period.
Yep. So, that's something that, when you see a trend like that, we're the first ones to go, okay, maybe I'll take a couple less cases of it this time,
Yeah.
And that's when we're buying less something, it's for a reason. It's not just because, we don't have faith in it. We're seeing some sort of trend in that direction.
And I think that's reflected by, like last time I looked, the only thing that's actually sitting on the shelves at distributors is Magic the Gathering.
Yeah. I mean, you see pictures of people that take pictures at Targets and stuff, and then it's always empty shelves, and then Magic's hanging out. So and Magic is, it's just the Mac Daddy of card games. There's no denying it. And I think they're still doing okay. They're just for whatever reason missed the fervor of collecting, and maybe it's in other sectors, people investing in other ways, but it's definitely not standard new product.
I think Rudy has successfully pointed out a few times that for some reason Hasbro is dead set on diluting their product just to oblivion, just adding new collectors, and everything is special.
It's so interesting to see a card game that's been around as long as Magic has, and just how other card games have copied Magic and done all the things that they've been doing, because they've been doing everything right for so long. And then for them to now be positioned lower than what the rest of even Yu-Gi-Oh's like, and Yu-Gi-Oh's huge. I'm not saying it's not, but it's weird that Magic is I think they are taking a page from stuff and other card games with the new mythical cards that they have coming out.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what's the official name for that in Strixhaven? I don't know what it is. I'm sorry.
I'm drawing a blank.
The cool looking reprints that they got coming out that are really beautiful, and I think are awesome. I think that is actually a step in the right direction. They're so cool. And as somebody that, knows the history of Magic, and I'm not a huge Magic player, I have played it. I know, obviously sell it.
Yeah.
I know all these card names. Those look familiar, and the art on them is amazing. They made so much, they made art for 3 sets worth for just this one set, and it's incredible. And I think it's finally going to pay off where, they realize that it's not just enough to take away the borders anymore. It's not enough to, well, edge foiling is kind of a push in the right direction, but even that was, not a huge thing. It's not enough variant to have somebody go after that.
Yeah.
And it's, especially with collector's boosters, it's the first ones are so, they did okay. I think they, for what they were, but their stuff in the cards that are being printed early on were not at the caliber that, it's not a freaking rainbow rare from Pokemon. It's not,
Right.
it's not that flashy where, it's not enough to just be a foil anymore. It's got to be so much more, and people expect, more, and you got to balance it to make sure that things they're rare enough to where they have value and good enough cards where people want to, sink the money into it and they're going to use them to play. And it's very difficult to find that balance with it. But I think this Strixhaven is obviously an awesome set, even standalone, but then you drop that stuff in the set boosters and the collector booster, and I think it's a no-brainer that this is going to be and do very well for them.
Yeah, and it's exciting to see a very anticipated Magic set.
I know it's refreshing. It's something different. It's maybe this product won't sit on my shelf for 2 months after the release of it. And
hopefully,
just distribution's begging me to take more.
Yeah. How about guilds? I saw in some of your videos you had some Guilds of Ravnica boosters on your shelves. Is that moving yet?
No, still got those. I think I had Ixalan stuff that I just went ahead and just cracked the last boosters I had, just because I'm not going to make space for this anymore. I'm just going to bust them just to get them off my shelf. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sitting on a big stack of Guilds of Ravnica cases, so I'm hoping that those are going to start moving soon.
No, yeah. It's very disappointing set. There's just nothing else. I mean, they had the big fetch that everybody wanted, but then nothing else. It was all fluff after that. So, okay. What else you got over there, Clay? What else you want to talk about? Wait, is that enough on MetaZoo? You got anything else?
That's the last big topic that I have is, I think we've kind of glossed over it here and there, but I've noticed lately that the whole scalping thing has died down. Maybe it has, maybe it hasn't, but from what I've noticed, that it's not as big of a controversial issue in the community anymore, and I'm glad about that personally. How do you feel about this topic around scalping? I don't want to mention any names and make it sound like I'm calling people out, but there were big videos of people talking about how things are bad.
Was there some videos? I didn't. Was there some people talking about it, Clay?
Yeah. I don't want to.
No, I mean, I made a video on the Frosted Caribou video, and the stuff behind that.
You said it, not me.
Oh, I mean, I don't think people are familiar enough to, and it's been covered enough and talked about, that there's some common area ground that has been made. I believe. I
agree.
I definitely take. No, did you say no?
No, I agree. I just people can be so sensitive.
I was like, ooh, okay.
Yeah.
But I mean, I made a video about this back in Viva Voltage times. I had busted out the whiteboard and said how I got product and how they get product, and big boxes, and it's going to take something at the big box level for this to stop, because there's opportunity there, and they're creating this opportunity. It took these targets, locking it up or limiting it and having that weird appointment thing that they were doing, have done for so many places. It's taken that to put an end to it, just because it's if it's unregulated, people are of course going to make money off of it. They're going to do it. There's no way there's no policing morals. There's no way to say, hey, if we just don't buy it, because clearly there's people buying it. People are buying it at my prices. If I price it at TCG Player or eBay or whatever, clearly I have buyers for it, and people that think it's worth the effort and the time that they save to pay that extra premium for it. And there's people on eBay that's doing it, and if they're not buying it from me, they're going to buy it from somebody else. And if they went and wiped out a Target or whatever on eBay, who's the real enemy here?
Right.
At that point. So, and even in the video, that's what I said. I said, unless this changes where they either raise their prices or limit the price, the product and how much people can get, people are just going to go and clear the shelves.
Yep.
until this all ends and the hype dies down and the product catches up. That's the three ways this is going to end.
I agree with that, and I also come from it from the angle of everything I do in this business. I have two businesses, but in this business, everything I do is scalping.
I mean,
that's the business model.
Reselling is basically what we're doing. Yeah.
that's the retail business model. You buy from somebody and sell it for a higher price. Now you could talk about the ethics of the price point that you end up selling it at and MSRP and market price and all that stuff. But the idea that scalping is bad and we're just gonna go at it with this big broad shovel and whack everybody in the face is not as nuanced of a discussion as I think it probably bears.
No, right. And, I think, there's so much at play to stocking and keeping stock at an LGS level. There's so much that obviously from people that just want the cards or just want to open the packs or just want to, have it for the kids or, just want to get their hands on product at a reasonable price.
Right.
I understand. And I feel that you're paying. I want prices to be normal too.
Yep.
And I want product levels to be the same or to be higher because then I sell more. That's basic economics as well. So there's nobody's really like winning in this scenario. And I talk about people to tell people in the comments and stuff that talk about, this dude is talking about pricing and his prices are way up there. They don't understand that, like with Battle Styles, we've waited a month now. I've had to have product in my store for this whole month. I have to price it or else I'm going to not have product.
Right.
And if I want people to come into the store and trade stuff in and get sealed product for it and keep that cycle moving where I get singles and stuff moving all the time, I have to have product on the shelves, which means I have to have pricing that allows me to keep it.
I don't think people understand that. That's a big part of how I price my stuff too.
Yes. So, and just cash flow in general is something that is a concept that I am a buy and sell store. Right. I have to have money to buy things. And I have to have product to sell. I have to keep that moving or else this business stops.
Right.
If I don't have product, I don't make money.
Yep.
So I have to have things on my shelves or else I'm just sitting here paying rent for the air conditioning or heating, which is, and my employees that, have nothing to sell and nothing to process because I have no product to sell. So they want to simplify it to, I just want the cards for MSRP. I do too. I want to be able to sell them for that. I also want to, in this frenzy of stuff, buy as much as possible and have as much available to sell to you.
Yep.
Everybody's going to win that. In that scenario, everybody wins. In a scenario like this, where scalpers are buying out things at an artificial low price and selling it for what people are willing to pay, everybody's losing. There's losers all around on that scenario. So yeah, it's not as simple as I just want to buy cards for MSRP. You should be selling at that. There's more to it. It's more complicated than that. And that's the kind of stuff that I try to tell people that come at me about my pricing and pricing in general being what they are.
I do too. For some reason, it's considered a hot take nowadays. I tell people, I have tons of product that I have to creep the price up because, like, for instance, my card sleeves are a huge part of selling on eBay. People buy them all the time, but they're on a 12-month back order right now.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I either can sell out in a day or I can incrementally creep up the price to try and control the outflow of inventory. Right. So like,
if I'm sitting on, a bunch of, say I have 200 ETBs coming for Battle Styles next week, and I still have 120 ETBs that I have from the first wave. Yeah, I got to start shoveling. So I have the money to pay for those next ETBs coming. If I only had 20 ETBs coming and I still have 120, I'm still going to be trying to throttle it and keep that stuff because I know if wave 3 kicks around, I got to make it to that long and have product on my shelf for that long to stretch it out to get there. It's a very supply and demand is a simple concept, but in practice it is not simple.
But then people come back with, "You're trying to gouge people. You're sitting on a pile of money." It's like, oh, you don't
I
obviously have
wish.
any
I wish I was
understanding.
sitting. I wish I was sitting on a pile of money. I wish
Yeah.
that was the case.
Like I don't know about you, but as far as I'm concerned, I in my business bank account usually keep enough to cover the bills, and then that's it. Everything is just churning. It's always churning.
You have to. That's
Yeah.
that's how so many businesses run. I mean, they coming out with all these reports about these stores that were shutting down. Months into the pandemic, just because they have no operating costs. They have no extra, emergency funds.
Yeah.
It's all just, I'm going to sell this product to get to the next product.
Yep.
And keep that cycle going. And I said in a comment about a video that you made,
I saw it.
where stores were, we pre-order product so we have enough money to pay for that product.
Yep.
And then release it and then keep it going to the next one. And that can be a very dangerous game if you all of a sudden get cut off from that product, and you have people are waiting on their product and getting angry at you because you can't get it.
Yep.
And if something, if it runs away, the price runs away where you can't get it for the price, and it creeps up, distribution raises their prices or what have you, whatever. You are stuck losing money to try to fulfill these pre-orders that you said and promised that you would get these people. So, you can be stuck very easily in a difficult situation.
And those are the kinds of stories, ideas that I like for trying to bring to light on my channel. I like listening to you talk about these things and other people talk about these things. People see a first edition Shadowless Charizard sell for $500,000 and they're like, oh man, oh, there goes my camera. They're like, Pokemon, everybody's rich. Pokemon, that's where all the money is. And
yeah,
it's like, yeah, that's a lot of money for a card, but let me try and help you understand the reality of the whole card store thing, the business side of things.
Did you get any of this Vivid Voltage restocked? Have you checked your pre-orders?
Nope. I only I got everything filled on Wave 1.
Yeah. I have a little surplus of Vivid Voltage. I don't know where they found it from. I'm getting 14 boxes.
Oh, lucky.
Yeah.
I haven't.
Again, people don't realize that excites us. Getting 14 boxes of a product that, of course, we can sell instantly if we wanted to. That's awesome.
What percentage of your pre-orders does that? I mean, how much of your pre-orders did you actually get filled on allocation
when it released?
Just like how much did you put in for, and then how much did you get allocated for?
Oh, I didn't even put in for this. This is just them just like a little kickback extra. Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So this is a treat. This is a treat.
I'm talking to a made man. Rudy, shout out, and surplus product.
Yeah, they slide me a couple, of the extra stuff every once in a while.
Like the Godfather.
I don't know how it got there. I have no idea.
Yeah.
That's 14 boxes, and I'm tickled just to have it, just because I haven't had Vivid Voltage that I haven't had to pay, above or at, market, just to have on my shelf.
Yeah.
In months. So yeah, I am tickled to have 14 boxes coming my way. That's the reality of owning a card store, is being thankful right now that you're able to get anything.
Yep. And then also the reality of a card store is in 12 months, when the printers catch up and the market's flooded and the prices are falling and we can't give the product away, keeping the lights on.
Yeah. You can only burn so many cards before you set sprinklers off and stuff like that.
Right.
Try to heat the building. So yeah.
Yep.
No,
not
that is definitely no. It's definitely a feast and famine situation sometimes.
Yeah, it is.
It is definitely not all Vivid Voltage. There's some Steam Siege sprinkled in there.
Yeah. Yep. Crimson Invasion.
Yep.
I think that pretty much takes care of everything I had for you today. Anything you have for me?
No, I was going to talk to you about the Magic collectability. If you had any ideas or thoughts or a take on Strixhaven, and if it's going to be a step in the right direction. Will we see casual collectors of Magic? Is that a thing that we may start seeing now?
I hope so. I think that a little bit of it is going to be inevitable. the big question is how much bleed through can we get from Pokemon to Magic? Because
Sure. Yeah. Or just
Pokemon,
anybody, just collectors, TCG collectors in general. I
right?
think that's always been a thing with Magic is that, there's people that collect Pokemon, obviously, it's bigger than the player base. People collect Yu-Gi-Oh! There's people out there that collect all kinds of card games and, even fringe like Star Wars and, like I said, Harry Potter and all that. Very, very few people collect Magic, especially new sets.
Yeah.
There's plenty of people that invest in Magic. That's obviously a very big thing, is investing
Right.
in old product. But new product, that's not a thing that Magic typically sees. So I'm interested to see if Strixhaven is going to change this, and maybe they going forward is. I'm actually want to make a video on this. Again, I don't normally talk about Magic stuff, but I think it's worth talking about because it's a collectible thing. I think it's very interesting.
I think it's interesting
the
too.
biggest card game in the world,
right,
is not a huge part of trading card games. There's not people that are collecting and trading and trying to complete sets of the stuff.
Well, the interesting thing about Magic to me is how the old alpha, the ABU cards are still playable in modern decks.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Which is just like when you think about that in Pokemon or any other TCG, it's mind blowing that you could still pick up a Black Lotus, put it in a modern deck, and play it.
Right. Yeah. And heck, reprints in general is just a novel concept for Pokemon players. That's not a thing, unless we get a promo or some weird art or that alone is weird. We're normally just stuck with what we got, or they reprint a set like they did with Orange Skies and with the Shaman EXs, and of course they wouldn't ban that card. So a lot of good that was, but but yeah, Magic is so interesting because it's not like any other TCG, but then it doesn't follow the rules in both regards of being on top, but then also not having just like normal stability of just any other old TCG. It's very weird.
Yep. I do think it is going to be interesting in about 6 months or so. PSA, before they close their doors, they ran that big Magic submission sale. And so I think in like 6 to maybe 9 months, what?
No, I think graded Magic is awesome. I just don't know if people are out there busting, Kaldheim to submit to PSA. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know.
I don't know either. But I think that obviously there's not a whole lot of graded Magic out there. It's not as nearly as big in Magic as it is in Pokemon or in other places, at least outside of like Power 9 dual lands and things like that.
Not new stuff. Definitely.
Right.
There's no, yeah.
But with that sale, and it was, they're pretty much giving away Magic slabs.
I'd love to see it. I would love to see people that went back and wanted to complete, double masters and get the extended arts, all the double master stuff. I think that'd be awesome. And I think that, Magic having that history, Pokemon has characters that, we collect, and, there's Pikachu collectors.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's Jace collectors or, Liliana collectors or whatever,
right.
But the history of Magic is what people really want to seem to collect. They want to collect all the ponders and all the Thoughtseize and all, stuff like that. If you really want to collect, there's not like I said, even really set collectors. It's normally just like a single card or a card they like, or, an effect that they like, or it's kind of interesting what people choose to collect in Magic. And I'd love to see it get to the point where it's like, because Magic art is beautiful.
It's beautiful.
They have beautiful art on
incredible,
absolutely trash cards.
Yep.
It's
incredible.
Just, you'll see this art and you're just be like, this will never be enjoyed because it's common that nobody's ever going to play.
Yep.
And I would love to see where people appreciate, even the commons and uncommons and collect full sets of, because especially themed stuff like Strixhaven, Kaldheim, Ravnica stuff. I think all that stuff is cool just because of the, the mythos and, the place that they take place in. And I'm surprised Magic has never had that sort of following. It blows my mind.
Yeah, me too. I think that's a good place to end the recording for today. For sure.
Yeah, we did a good hour or so, I think.
Yeah, solid hour. So, but yeah, I really appreciate it. Thanks again for this opportunity, this privilege.
Oh, you kidding me? I love hanging out and talking and just giving people a hard time when they talk to me. I don't know if I was that tough, but no, I think we had fun.
Oh,
I had fun. I don't know if
absolutely.
you did.
Absolutely.